Hello. It's Sunday, August 7th, 2022. I've been thinking for many weeks about how I'm going to kind of stay out in the world and record what is happening with me since my serious medical diagnosis that has all happened within the last 4 or 5 months. And while it feels a little weird to put this on, what's essentially social media on YouTube, kind of feels like of all of the current options, this one makes the most sense. And one of the things that I thought about that um, kind of convinced me after not being sure is that it's going to be easy for the people close to me to see this all later when I'm not around and they're here. And even maybe if there are grandchildren, eventually one or more, this is something that they can see that's just gonna stay around. It's also easiest for me to be spontaneous, just sort of pick things up and say a few words when I feel like it. Easier than writing, which I'm also doing some of as well. But anyway, video number one, and my commitment to myself is to just say whatever, no filter, no plan, no editing. And because my profession was past tense in design and marketing, it's a lot to be spontaneous and not edit. And I put myself together for you all today. This is very put together relative to how it's been, with, like, there's my stash. I've got, snacks and whatever I need, medicine, because I sit here a lot. All right, so where do I start? Let's start. So, okay, right now I am 50 years old. I turned 50 on December 8th. Um, Mike, my husband, is 59. Casey, my daughter, is 17. And um, So I've had migraines all my adult life, like chronic, and always lots of things going on, and different medications, different treatments, and I got to the point where I could manage them. They were always chronic, and I've had fatigue for a lot of years that didn't quite make sense, and a bunch of other things. But I've always functioned. I was, for 2.5 years, I was in my dream job as director of marketing at Jiva Theater here in Rochester, and I had a lot more to do, but I worked hard and I loved it, and it was sad to leave. And but that was me. And one thing you're going to notice is I'm going to lose my train of thought, and that's kind of happening now. Anyway, so in March, I started to notice my headaches were feeling very different. They kind of had been the same, more or less, for a very long time. And there was a lot more like pressure up here and pressure inside, and they were not responding to meds as well. It was weird. And so I took prednisone, which is a thing I've had to do every so often. It's a taper, like 12 days. And then at the very end of that, April 5th, I had what I figured out later was a panic attack, which I have never had. Nothing like it. I've had some anxiety, whatever. Panic attack, full blown, weird as hell. Didn't know what was going on. Fortunately, it kind of resolved, I guess, somewhat quickly, half an hour or whatever. And then from that moment on, that day, I've had dizziness. Um, yes, cognitive issues, and various other things. I was describing it early on, like if my brain were a keyboard, there's a couple of keys missing all of a sudden, and I don't know why. So few days went by, and I thought I was gonna get better. I just thought, weird headache related stuff. And it was not any different. It just stayed, and the headaches were there, like the prednisone hadn't touched them. And this keeps happening. You'll get used to it. I've gotten used to it. Uh, so she said, get right to your neurologist. I did that. She ordered an MRI. Um, would have been mid-April at this point. And yeah, the MRI was pretty scary. I knew at this point something was going to be there. I had no idea what, and what happened in the end is something I had never heard of. So the MRI showed what they were calling innumerable, and it's like funky language, but innumerable microhemorrhages. So there's a little, like, 1 to 2, 3, 4 millimeter little, like, black dots in my brain. In my case, mostly 1 to 2 millimeter. Um, Innumerable. That's a lot. So there's dozens, right? And the radiologist at that point didn't have a lot to suggest, but mentioned this amyloid angiopathy. So a month later, after lots of visits and referrals and work to try to get me in sooner with the specialist, on May 24th, um, uh, on a telehealth appointment with Dr. Bala, who is a U of R. Here I go again. Uh, Neurosurgeon, neurointerventionalist, right? Um, they confirmed, yeah, we're really pretty sure it's cerebral amyloid angiopathy. It's not going to get better. It will get worse. Here are all of the ways it could get worse. And we're really sorry you're having to go through this. Don't give up. Okay. They were very good. It was Dr. Bala and his PA. And I already knew this after doing a lot of research. And yet it still hit pretty hard, and it really hit my card because he was holding out a lot more hope, I think, at that point. And so I had really been struggling to work. I had been almost exclusively remote. It was one day between April 5th and May 24th that I went to work in person because I got a ride, because I have not been able to drive since this happened because I cannot process that quickly. That visual information on a loop where then I have to react quickly in the moment at all times, like constant, constant, constant. And about 5 minutes of driving, I am miserable. Like it's just, it's like this weird, torturous feeling that is so hard to explain. Like the cognitive fatigue and stress is the weirdest thing if you've never experienced it, because we all have fatigue. But man, it's something when it is your actual brain is tired, is like, oh, please let me stop, and there's like this, it's almost pain. It's not exactly pain. And then if I push like past where I start to feel that, I get sick. And so So at that point, I had to have the phone call with my boss, who had been very supportive and let me, wanted me to take care of myself, and I had to say, okay, this is it, and I'm not going to get better, and I can't do my job the way you hired me to. So long, now, okay, I'm on short-term disability. I am about to enter the harrowing process of working to get the long-term disability private and policy, and then social security disability, for which I have hired an attorney. It's just a whole thing, things you never know until you have to. So that's a lot of the practical stuff, and now I am resting more often than I am doing anything else. I sleep well because I sleep hard. If I'm asleep, I am really asleep. Um, I I am sad a lot of the time. I cry every day, but I'm okay. I am not depressed. It is grief. It is like I've said from early on, I want to be present and real. I don't want to be in denial about anything. And this will be fatal. People don't like to tell me the prognosis. The doctors are real. I mean, and to be fair, it's really tough to tell. So I didn't mention CAA, which is the shorthand for cerebral amyloid angiopathy, is actually not uncommon in the elderly, like over age 75, 80, 85, right? It's very, very rare for someone who is 50. So they don't have good data, and they're getting more all the time. But but it's it's not good. It's uh, I also, because I feel so crummy all the time, I have a really, really, really hard time just imagining that it's going to be a long, protracted thing. So years, absolutely some years, but my life expectancy is probably shortened by 30 or so years, maybe more, which is a fucking kick in the ass, let me tell you. And of course, right? Uh, I every day there's this really intense awareness of everything I'm seeing, experiencing, and all of my relationships, um, and all of the things I have been blessed to experience up until now while I was healthy. Because I don't want to do a lot of traveling. I don't want to go to rock concerts. Um, Anything I do is like currency because my energy supply is so low. And so doing anything is like, okay, I gotta be ready to rest all day, to be ready to, we're gonna go out for our anniversary in a couple weeks, and for dinner. And I'm gonna rest all day so that I can go out to have a nice meal with my awesome husband. Um, yeah, and I think I'm gonna end up talking a lot more about all of that in this. Um, and I'm getting tired right now. So that's my own cue to myself. Uh, I'm going to be back soon, hopefully often, because I think this is going to be helpful, and I hope it is helpful to my sweethearts eventually. Now, later. Thanks to everybody who's watching right now. It's wild to think about how it could be years away, but thank you. And I'm going to say this right now. If anybody wants to know how to help, if you know me now, just be in touch. That's really everything. I can't do crowds and parties and noise, but I love seeing people for visits, an hour or so. Um, it is everything. Yeah, I cherish it. And if you're watching this and it is not now, and I'm not doing well or I'm not here, please just love my family. Talk to you soon.